woman that basically had a good husband and she ended up divorcing him and now she regrets it. Let's go check that out.
I was a selfish in my marriage. I've been divorced now almost 4 years, but I was married to my ex-husband 16 years and with him 18 years. And again, I was a selfish. Nothing was ever good enough. I took him for granted. He seriously rolled out the red carpet for me. He was sweet, kind, generous. He told me how much he loved me 5 times a day. He told me how beautiful I was every day. If he'd wake me up in the morning, because he knows I love massages, wake me up rubbing my shoulders. He'd rub my feet every evening while we were watching TV. If I said, for example, oh, I'm craving a Dr. Pepper, he'd be like, okay, let me go to the corner store and get it. He adored me. He was amazing. Like on paper, it's what every girl wants, seriously. And yeah, I took it for granted. And now I lost that, right? And I carried a lot of guilt because I caused it. That's my biggest regret in life, is not saving, the whole family aspect. The grass is not always greener on the other side, ladies. It's not, I'm good now. I feel great. And he's super happy with his girlfriend. And honestly, I could not be happier for him because he deserved to be loved and cared about and respected as he should have always been. So I'm so happy that he's happy. Anyways, what I'm saying, ladies, the grass is not greener on the other side. If you have a good guy, take care of him. Take care of him. Trust me, there's nothing good out in these streets. He seriously set the bar. He set the bar. And ultimately, what I always wanted, I had all along. So we have good right in front of us, and we don't know how to take care of it.
That happens to a lot of men. Men do everything that you could say is right. She said he did everything right, but she was the one that she said she was selfish. She said that basically she didn't take, she took him for granted and she wasn't grateful to the husband that she had. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, she files for divorce and, hey, they end up getting divorced. But she said now he is happy with someone else, his current girlfriend, whoever that may be. Now she's reflecting on that years later. Okay. But here's the thing. She said the grass isn't greener on the other side. She said that it's not easy out there. And what it is that sometimes, and it's a human thing. So it's not just women, because men could do this too. When you start romanticizing the other side and start thinking you're going to have more fun and you're going to do this and that and the third, and you can't do that with your husband or your wife, because they got men that do that too, and then you finally get into what you were looking for, and then you realize that grass was it was green, but it was just paint. It was all weeds. I went to weeds. I didn't go, I was actually in grass, and I went to a field full of weeds, and this is not the life that I wanted. Why would I walk away from my situation where I'm living good to go to that? Every person I've ever talked to said that, whether male or female, that is nothing out on them streets that is horrible. Like the dating pool got pee and poop in it. So if you got somebody, you married, you got a girlfriend, you got a boyfriend, stay with them, work it out, because there's nothing going on out here. When you have women and men both saying that, then you have to listen to that. And it don't matter what community they come from. They all saying the exact same thing. But my thing, what I just personally believe, if you leave your spouse, whether it's, the man do it, the woman do it, and it's not for anything outside of what, the scriptures teach you should leave your spouse for, then I think, true love is going to avoid you because you didn't the marriage wasn't broken the right way. See, man can say no fault divorce all he want. You know what I'm saying? But God's law supersedes man's law any day of the week. And a lot of people that I've seen that just left their husband, left their wife, and it wasn't on like nothing, what the Bible would teach that you could break marriage covenant on. Usually a lot of times when you see love eludes them. They get somebody to be with, but it's not love like that. It's something always going to be wrong where they can't go further with that person. And you see sometimes those people end up not with somebody else. And if they do get with somebody, they may even get married to somebody else. It don't even last. It don't last. Because I truly believe that unless you break marriage covenant the right way, Love's going to lose you. You can't just walk up and say, just because the state say you can walk off and say, I don't want to be with him no more. I don't be with her no more. I'm moving on. I want to go do this. Whatever the case may be. Sure, you can do it by the state, but in God's law, that's not a way to walk. That's not a way to break marriage covenant. And when you get married, why you think they do that ceremony, not just with the state, but they do that ceremony before God. And they do all those vows. You entering into a covenant. And a covenant is a spiritual binding agreement, not just a physical binding agreement. People think marriage is just one of the things you do. No, you're entering into a spiritual covenant before God. So you should not be just jumping into that willy-nilly unless you're very sure about what you're doing, because you're going to be held to a different standard. But at the same time, you enter into that spiritual covenant. There's certain blessings you attain in that covenant that you would not attain being single. It's just the truth. So one thing I never really want to do is live with regrets. You know what I'm saying? And regrets that, man, why did I do this? Well, I shouldn't. I trust me, I don't. That's why I try to make sure I'm careful on everything I do and say, because I don't want to make no mistakes. You know what I'm saying? My thing is try all you can before you go that route. Try everything you can before you go that route. Now, if the woman's on, and I'm pretty sure the guy probably begged and pleaded with her, hey, let's just work it out. Let's see. And based off just how she talked, you can tell she was the one headstrong about, no, I want to do this, I want to do that. But it's life after divorce. I can tell you that personally. It's life after divorce. So shout out to the man. But at least she was woman enough to admit it, and that I respect on that.